to a good meeting today at the Romanian presidency.
We wanted to ask you if you can. You said last night that you are optimistic about the starting talks on the U.S. trade agreement. Have you managed to have any discussions with the ministers? What's the feeling?
Well, this is one of the points of the meeting. Of course, we're going to discuss the WTO issues and take stock of everything, and the US mandate, the proposals that we handed to the Council. I think we've had a good discussion on this, and hopefully we are soon in a position to adopt them. There was a positive vote in INTA last week. This is an informal council, so we're not going to make any decisions, obviously, but we are preparing to be ready as we decided in the White House in July. So I hope that ministers soon will feel that they are ready to make that decision.
How soon is soon?
Well, I don't want to set a date, but we need to start negotiating. The European Parliament will vote, we think, beginning of March. So at that occasion would be the ministers taking the decision very soon after that. But it has to be, we need to check exactly when the council meetings are as well, because it cannot be taken, by the ambassadors. It has to be a formal council meeting. It can be any council meeting, but I don't have the dates in my head.
You mean weeks rather than months in any case?
Sorry?
Weeks rather than months?
Yes.
Do you have in your head or in your opinion, do you have a set of objectives that would form the base of the new treaty?
Which treaty?
The negotiation of the treaty with the US. The agreement.
The proposals by the Commission are public, so you read them. Obviously, there will be a few additions by the Council, but it's very clear it should cover industrial goods, and that's it. And industrial goods in WTO language includes also fisheries. But we are not talking about agriculture as was decided in the White House. This is a limited agreement on industrial goods, so it's not a full free trade agreement. It's a limited agreement that we could hopefully deliver quite quickly. And then the conformity assessment is technical but very important for business.
Quickly
as well.
Meaning by the end of the year or in 2 years or?
No, it should go quickly. If we start negotiations, of course it takes two to tango. I think it can be done during this mandate.
Are you any closer to the agreement with the US that cars and car parts should be included in the agreement?
Well, we have included it, as you have seen. The US, they have made a more template on negotiations, and it's included there as well, I think. But we haven't compared mandate yet. As you know, the US are quite busy with the China talks right now, so we haven't had the possibility to discuss it.
And do you think that the talks should start in this time when President Trump will be deciding on the possible tariffs on cars and car parts?
Well, we made a decision in July that we would take certain steps jointly to find a common platform. And we have started to discuss about some regulatory cooperation. We have started to explore what can be done there. There are increased trees in soybeans and LNG. We are doing, together with Japan, our talks in WTO. And now we have gone to both our Congress and Council with the mandate. So, I mean, we're not delaying anything. We're doing what we said we would do. And then it was said in the statement from the White House that while we are talking, we should not impose any tariffs on each other.
How are WTO reform discussions going? How was your meeting with Mr. Azevedo yesterday?
They are, well, we are in a very delicate situation, of course. The WTO is in a very severe crisis. Most urgent is the appellate body, where there are talks in Geneva. No breakthrough yet, but at least there are talks, which is good. And then there are some positive elements. I was very happy that we could decide together with many other countries, 76 in total, on the e-commerce. So the first meeting will kick off the 6th of March in Geneva. It will mainly be a technical meeting to take stock and to see for the process, but that is a very important meet. For the rest, well, we are making proposals from the European Union side, also others are, but there's still a lot of work to do, I have to say. So.
And the trilateral with Japan, is that moving ahead? Or
we had a meeting, no, we had a meeting in January with the Japanese minister and with Ambassador Lighthizer. We don't have a date yet for the next meeting, but it will be during the spring. We've had 5 meetings already, so it's moving, I would say, and our senior officials are meeting and having contacts all the time. So I would say that is making progress.
Concerning the US, the EU doesn't want to negotiate under threat, but Donald Trump just made a new threat on Wednesday. How will you deal with this?
Well, we don't, react to daily statements like this. We are following a very clear path. What we are doing is exactly what we said we would do. The European Council in Sofia in June were unanimous in saying that this is what we should do to establish a positive platform with the US. President Juncker managed to establish just that. And since then, I've been in the European Parliament and in the Council and talking to you guys many times, saying this is what we're going to do. No more, no less. And this is what we are doing. Steady, firmly, unified. We don't react to, individual statements like this. We have a process and we are following it. We are delivering from our part.
But if the US imposed car tariffs, would all talks stop?
Yes. This is clear in the proposed mandate from us as well, that then those negotiations would stop, yes.
You said formally, do you need to ask the US for an exemption now, or how will it go?
For an exemption?
For an exemption from the tariffs.
But we haven't heard anything about the tariff. There is an investigation that has been handed over by the Department of Commerce to the White House. Nobody has seen this. We don't know what's in it. As opposed in Europe, it doesn't leak, so we haven't seen it. And until we haven't seen it, we can't comment or speculate about it. So I'm not going to make any hypotheses on this.
Wait until the Parliament has had its say, which, as you say, is in the second week, I think, of March.
But that is up to the Council to decide about the process.
Okay. And are you expecting, I know it's an informal meeting today, but are you expecting at least a kind of an informal decision about how to proceed, about whether or not they're going to agree to them?
Let's see how it goes first. I don't want to speculate before the meeting starts in half an hour, so I don't want to do that.
Is fisheries an issue? Fisheries, is everybody okay with fisheries being in?
Again, this is the first time we unite to discuss it. There have been discussions, of course, on senior officials levels and in Coreper, but this is the first time we discuss it, all of us, together. So, again, let's wait until after the meeting. I will have a press conference together with the Romanian presidency.
And TTIP, are you planning to officially suspend the negotiations on TTIP before starting the...
Well, the TTIP negotiations are suspended. They are very deep in the freezers. It is not... Well, officially, I've said it now. This is official. No? And this is not TTIP at all. This is a very limited trade. It's not even a free trade agreement. It's a limited agreement on industrial goods only. So TTIP is deep in the freezer. There are no conditions to reopening the TTIP negotiations in the foreseeable future.
Do you expect to have any sort of discussions about Brexit today?
No, I don't think so. No.
Will you ask for the end of tariffs on steel before starting any negotiations?
We have said, and that is also in the proposal, but that's discussed today, that if we start negotiating these two mandates, before concluding, we expect that there is a solution to this. It's also very clearly stated. Before the conclusion, yes. That is also clearly in the statement from July from the White House. Okay, I think we can give you updates in a couple of hours with the minister. Thank you. Bye. So we don't have to speculate exactly what's concerned.
I was talking about the menu and we are not in power to sign it today because I told my team, I think they decided, they told me, no, it's okay anymore. Then let's do it.
Okay, super. morță de soare.
So the Brussels press, yeah, so it will be English then. So on our agenda today, on the informal trade ministerial meeting, there will be two of the Romanian priorities, which are the WTO reform and also the mandate that we should give it to the Commission for the US-EU relations. We'll have to be that honest broker, as all the presidents should be. So we will have good discussions, I hope, with all our colleagues. And after that, in the press conference, I can say exactly what it will be discussed and on the meeting. And I have to say that regarding the WTO, we invited last night to the informal dinner also Mr. Azevedo, which is the general manager of the WTO, and also Mr. Ben Lange, which is the president of INTA, because we do believe that discussions, good discussion, open discussions, with all the stakeholders will give more transparency and more information to the European citizens, which really they deserve it, and to be informed about all the trade latest developments. I think that we had really good discussions last night, and we discussed a lot also about the new outcomes, like the 76 states which are already intending to start the negotiating regarding the e-commerce. And I inform also my colleagues that during our presidency mandate, in 16th of May, we'll have a workshop in Geneva together with Mr. Azevedo and the other highly representative of the WTO, and also with the European companies, representative of the e-commerce companies, to bring the contribution, the European contribution to this topic. So I do believe that also that workshop will bring the values which we are having as European in the e-commerce.
Negotiations. Are there any major stumbling blocks that you still need to resolve?
As presidency, in the technical committees, we already done important steps. So we prepared very well this meeting, and today there will be the political discussions. So I'm also looking forward to have the very, very fruitful discussion with my colleagues. And after that, in the press conference, I will be able to inform you about everything what we discuss.
Like about, for example, fisheries?
What I like to achieve is to have everybody on the boat. So thank you very much, and we'll see in the press conference.
morning. Guten Morgen.
Sandra Gattajana from the Protocol of the Ministry of
Nice to
Foreign
meet you.
Affairs.
A wonderful building.
Guten Morgen. Wir werden heute sehr intensive Gespräche führen, wie wir unsere europäischen und deutschen Interessen wahren in den internationalen Handelsgesprächen. Es kommt nicht darauf an, wann ein Mandat formell beschlossen wird. Es kommt darauf an, dass wir uns einig sind, international die Zölle zu senken, nicht zu erhöhen, dass wir uns einig sind, für die multilaterale Weltordnung zu kämpfen.
When the talks with the US should start in your
Sorry,
opinion?
so can you please repeat it?
Sorry?
Can you please repeat
Yes,
it?
of course. When the talks with the US should start, in your opinion?
We have talks with the US already for almost for more than half a year. These talks have to be formalized within a foreseeable delay of time. Is it something that will be discussed? It's a matter for the heads of states and government, for the ministers of trade and commerce. So let's see how far we can go. My intention is not to rush something through. My intention is to have a large consensus uniting all member states. I will act together with my French colleague and many others in this council.
It was very impressive. I've been here, not on the second time, 2007. I've been here for the first time. Thanks a lot. I have now a meeting with Cecilia Malmström and later on with Patrick. Okay.
If you just want to see.
And this is our meeting room.
Yes,
looks great. It looks great. When we have the presidency,
and hopefully we'll have very good talks today.
Never seen it. Thank you so much. All the best.
So, this is the official picture, so we have the data here, yeah? The proper way also. Yeah. Let's hopefully it will be also.
Prepare for the president, the incoming president.
Morning.
Hey, morning.
How are you?
Good, I'm good. Good to see you. Good to see you. You too. You too.
Fine. So hopefully also the discussion will be absolutely, yeah. Morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have a picture here.
Yeah.
Let's take a picture like this. I'm sorry I missed the dinner yesterday. It's a bad flat. I'd like to make sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Beautiful place. Morning. How are you, my friend? Thank you. Very nice welcome.
Yeah.
Very much.
Pardon? From Denmark.
Denmark, okay.
Yes.
What do you expect? Will there be a mandate and will there be a plan B for the WTO?
On the mandate, I think we will have a clear support for the European Commission. I don't think, since it's an informal meeting, I don't think we formally can conclude anything, but there will be broad support for the Commission, I hope, at least from my delegation. On Plan B, I think it's too early. We should focus on Plan A, and this is the message from my delegation today.
And on the US, the talks with the US, when they should start, in your opinion?
I think they can start when we're ready to start, but I think the important thing is that we give the Commission the signal that we are credible and fast and ready to act in the near future. If that means that the Commission should start in 3-4 weeks, it's okay for us. It could also be later, because there are differences between the mandates on the US side and on the EU side, so maybe we need a bit more bilateral talk before we can agree.
And on the EU side, do you have an agreement what should be included in the mandate? Fisheries, for example, should it be in?
I think fisheries should be in, because we have the principle that according to WTO rules, substantially all trade has to be in an agreement. This means 90% of all trade and 90% of all tariff lines. So fisheries is 5% alone. So therefore we need fish in to be able to reach the 90%.
And would you support the idea of having the TTIP negotiations being cancelled and completely, so that there is no confusion between the new negotiations and the old negotiations?
I think it's not so important, the TTIP mandate. It's clear for everybody that we're in a new situation after Trump has become president of the US. It's not so important for Denmark whether it's in or out, because in our view it's evident that there is a new situation and that we're not talking about broad TTIP talks, we're talking about focused industrial tariffs.
You said 3 or 4 weeks might be okay. 3 or 4 months? How about that?
Well, the important thing is that the Commission gets the support from member states that they can start when they think, as our negotiator, the Commission is negotiating on the behalf of member states. So the Commission can decide when the timing is right. I think we should wait until the European Parliament has voted on their resolution. It's a political signal. It's not strictly legally necessary, but I think it's politically important.
But if you extend this period, the approval of the mandate, won't it harm the objective to have this deal by the end of the mandate of the current Commission?
I think this is up to the negotiator, the Commission. Yeah. We trust the Danish government, trust the Commission as our negotiator, and we have confidence that they will figure out how to do this best.
And if the vote at the Parliament is negative, which is possible, what would you do?
Well, let's cross that bridge when we get to it. Right now we have the Intercommittee having voted 21-17, and I believe that this will reflect also the plenary vote. So I'm an optimist, and I'll cross the bridge. If there is a negative vote, we'll cross that. But as I said before, it's not strictly legally necessary that we have an approval from the European Parliament. So in any event, I think there's a reason to be optimistic.
At the point at which, assuming that the Parliament does agree, would the ministers need to meet again, or how would the mandate get approved?
I think that after today we will be a lot wiser, because today is an informal meeting and we cannot formally conclude anything, but we will have the political gist after today, and I believe there will be a broad support for the Commission's wish to have a quick approval.
Different question. The US and China seem to be on the verge of striking a trade deal. Are there any fears that this will backlash for the European Union?
Yes, you could say that there is of course a risk that the EU, who is not at the table, we don't know what they're talking about, we don't know what they're agreeing. There is a risk that they will either conclude some things that could be against WTO rules, so that it would only benefit US and China and not, as we say in WTO language, MFN. It would not be most favored nations or broad help everybody. This is one risk. There's also a risk that they don't reach an agreement. That would not be very good either, because we need cooperation. And the message from the EU has always been, we're not on the side of US, we're not on the side of China, we're on the side of the multilateral trading system, and this is the important thing in also those negotiations.
Thank you very much.
The weather was good.
Yeah, yes. Special event. Special difference.
To get consensus for a mandate.
Where are you from?
From Borderlegs, a trade policy publication, Politico and Lex.
Okay, thank you. Yes. I feel naked without my press secretary. Sorry.
Do you expect there to be support for a mandate with the United States and for a quick mandate?
Actually, we are not going to take any decision on that on this informal meeting, but of course that is something that we are talking about, and we are hoping for a rather quick decision. We have to take it through the Swedish Parliament first, but I don't foresee any problem with the Swedish. The government is proposing that we should accept it.
So how would you be ready with your all this preparedness for opening negotiations with the US on your side in Sweden?
Well, actually, we had wished for a much broader negotiation. We were in favor of TTIP, but as the situation is, then we have to go for a much smaller negotiation with just those two things, and that is what we have now on the table, and that is what we have. What I'm really worrying about is the possibility of tariffs on cars and automotive parts. And I was visiting Volvo earlier this week, and I have done a report. I have asked one of the best people in the world, the CEO of the World Trade Institute, to do analyze what that would mean for Sweden. It could mean a loss of 4,000 jobs in the automotive sector. I think I have to go now.
So. It's a good idea to start negotiations before you know what will happen with the US tariffs on cars.
Well, I think that there is an agreement that if there is tariffs, then this would be put on hold. And also Mr. Trump has said the same. If these negotiations are going well, then the tariffs are on hold. And that is the most important issue, is that there will be no tariffs on cars and automotive. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, hey.
Bonjour. Bon voilà, écoutez, nous voilà réunis pour cette réunion informelle du ministre du Commerce avec un agenda qui est chargé, à la fois sur le plan multilatéral avec un point sur l'OMC. Vous savez que Roberto Azevedo était hier soir présent ici. Et puis par ailleurs, sur le plan des relations commerciales bilatérales, naturellement, le sujet important est bien de la relation transatlantique, de cette relation commerciale, puisqu'il y a, à la suite de la réunion du 25 juillet dernier entre le président Juncker, le président Trump, tout un travail technique qui a été engagé, de périmétrage, que la Commission a mis sur la table donc, des mandats. Et aujourd'hui, nous avons la première discussion politique autour de ce sujet. Je crois que depuis le début, ce qui a été la marque de fabrique, on va dire, du Conseil, ça a été l'unité européenne dans ces relations transatlantiques, et je pense que c'est cette unité européenne que nous devons naturellement conserver. L'Union européenne, dans ces deux dossiers d'ailleurs, que ce soit l'OMC, que ce soit les relations transatlantiques, montre qu'elle est un acteur de bonne foi, qu'elle est un acteur qui fait des propositions, et donc eh bien, nous sommes attentifs aussi au contexte, un contexte qui est très évolutif, puisque on a entendu parler de ce rapport 232 fait naturellement sur les automobiles en rapport avec la section 232, et donc on sera très attentif à cela parce que il est important, on l'a dit et redit, l'Union européenne, ce n'est pas sous la menace qu'elle négocie, elle est un acteur de bonne foi, je l'ai dit, elle est un acteur qui a montré sa bonne volonté à de nombreux égards, et donc c'est ce dont nous allons discuter, c'est la stratégie, mais il est très clair que, eh bien, il y a un lien transatlantique qui doit être fort, mais tout ça doit se faire dans le respect mutuel. Voilà.
Est-ce qu'il faut aller vite pour accorder ce mandat à l'Union européenne? Nous sommes la France, c'est plutôt de celle c'est des groupes de pays qui freinent un petit peu pour donner le feu vert à la Commission européenne. D'autres pays veulent aller vite. Donc, est-ce que dans les discussions sur la stratégie, est-ce que le facteur temps fait partie des discussions?
Vous savez, le 25 juillet, c'était il n'y a pas si longtemps, je crois qu'il y a eu un travail qui s'est fait à bon rythme, et l'Union européenne d'ailleurs n'a pas été bloquante, au contraire, je crois que dans les discussions elle a été constructive. Nous, ce qui compte, c'est vraiment le respect de cette feuille de route du 25 juillet, l'exclusion de l'agriculture notamment, et je me réjouis que d'ailleurs les Européens, dans le projet de mandat, que la Commission ait véritablement réaffirmé cela, et Cecilia Malmström a été constante, nos amis des États membres aussi dans ce soutien à cette position française. Maintenant, encore une fois, justement, c'est une première discussion politique, donc ça va être l'occasion de mettre sur la table un certain nombre d'éléments de stratégie. Encore une fois, on a un horizon qui est la désescalade que nous souhaitons, mais vous avez vu que ce n'est pas l'Union européenne qui a remis, si je puis dire, 20 centimes dans le jukebox il y a quelques jours avec des déclarations, et donc il faut également être attentif à tout cela parce que ça doit être, je crois, on doit être de bonne foi les uns et les autres, et encore une fois je l'ai dit, c'est la posture de l'Union européenne. Donc voilà, première discussion politique, donc c'est un moment naturellement intéressant, important. En tous les cas, nous on a fait des signes de bonne volonté, l'Union européenne, depuis dans le processus, tout au long du processus. Voilà ce que je peux dire.
Est-ce que la France serait d'accord que l'UE négocie dès le mois prochain, comme le suggère Madame Malmström, un accord avec les États-Unis en pleine crise des Gilets jaunes et en pleine campagne européenne?
Alors vous avez vu que dans le calendrier, le Parlement européen doit se prononcer. C'est certes un avis consultatif, mais je pense qu'il faut l'attendre, il faut l'écouter. Par ailleurs, les leaders se retrouveront un peu plus tard. Donc je crois qu'on est pour l'instant, encore une fois, je dis, c'est une première décision politique. Donc, c'est-à-dire qu'il pourrait y en avoir d'autres aussi. Ce qui compte, c'est encore une fois le fait que la stratégie permette de protéger au mieux les intérêts européens. Ce sont les intérêts européens de façon globale d'ailleurs qu'il faut considérer et ces intérêts, c'est là où notre stratégie doit être adaptée très clairement. C'est ce qui va être le fil rouge en tous les cas de nos réflexions ce matin. Donc je vous en dirai peut-être un peu plus tout à l'heure.
Est-ce qu'il faut plan B pour l'organe d'appel de l'OMC, ce qui fait accélérer un petit peu les discussions là-dessus?
Alors sur l'organe d'appel de l'OMC, je crois que ce qui est positif, c'est que l'Union européenne a mis sur la table des propositions, vous vous en souvenez, au mois de novembre dernier, que à la suite de cela, je ne peux pas vous laisser dire ça. Ça ne va pas nulle part parce que cette force de proposition de l'Union européenne, on a vu qu'elle a permis de faire en sorte qu'il y ait un travail qui soit enclenché. Il y a quelques mois, il n'y avait pas du tout de travail, pas du tout de réflexion par rapport à ça. Et là, vous l'avez vu, nos amis néo-zélandais, du coup, sont dans une mission pour justement explorer les possibilités. Et c'est grâce au fait que l'UE a été force de proposition, donc je crois qu'il faut réfléchir à toutes les possibilités parce que on ne peut pas se résoudre à avoir tout simplement une paralysie totale. Et donc effectivement il faut regarder tous les textes, il faut encore une fois se préparer à toutes les éventualités et dans ces cas-là il vaut mieux avoir aussi en tête des plans B, même si je sais qu'Roberto Azevedo n'aime pas trop cette expression. En tous les cas on ne peut pas se dire que le commerce international se verrait privé de tout type de mesures permettant juridiquement de trancher des différends. Voilà, parce que ce ne serait pas bon. Donc il faut se préparer à tout, ça veut dire réfléchir, être créatif. Voilà. Hein, à tout à l'heure. Hein. Ah, mais si, parce qu'on se reverra tout à l'heure.
Good morning. My French colleague had a lot to talk with you. So I'm from Austria. I'm the minister from Austria. You know, that's good. That's good. So I'm happy to be here today. Our chancellor was just yesterday with President Trump, and Austria had very good discussions, especially on trade, but also, of course, on other topics in the White House. So we were very happy that for the first time after 3 chancellors, our Austrian chancellor had the chance to talk to President Trump directly. Our opinion on today's meeting is that it is very important that we find a common voice of Europe. Europe is only strong if we talk with one voice. And what is especially important is that we protect the European industry. Europe needs a strong industry, France as well as Germany and as well as Italy as well as Austria. So if we have a strong industry, we have a lot of jobs. If we do not have a strong industry, we lose jobs. This is very clear. And for me, it's very important that all countries stand together and do understand that it's not about it's my car industry or it's your car industry, the French or the German car industry, but it's the European car industry. There is something at stake for a lot of employees in whole Europe and not only in single countries. So therefore I expect from all the countries to give a mandate and to prepare to give a mandate to the Commission so that the Commission can negotiate and not to hold back because my car industry maybe in France or in one or other country is not affected as much as in other countries.
What was the signal that you got from that your chancellor got from Mr. Trump about imposing what he said the tariffs on the auto industry? Is he willing to negotiate? What was the general or he's made his mind?
Yes, with him is sometimes
it's hard to read.
It's hard to say what is really going to happen. But what I experienced, I can talk from my own experience. I was in the White House in end of last year, talking 1.5 hours with Wilbur Ross, and what I understood, my experience is that the U.S. wants to talk but they see sometimes a lot of bureaucracy in Europe, and they cannot move on with the talks. They want to negotiate quickly. Sometimes they do not understand why it all takes so long. Yeah? Therefore, it's so important that we find one voice and do this quickly. So time is here important, and therefore this is also something I expect from all the countries, including France.
Do you have to wait until the European Parliament comes up with a decision? Do you have to wait for the European Parliament to give it?
Well, I think we need to focus now to speak with one voice, and this is what we're going to do today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
ea să accepte deja. Rigidity. Dacă e pentru bancă, așa și
dar unde nu în
Thank you.